Alrighty y'all, I'm back again, and this time I want to profile my Eugene list that I took to Deck and Dice and got third with. My only loss was to the undefeated. He was playing, damn, what was he playing? I lost to him in the third round. It was a 4-round tournament. There was 14 people. He was playing, he was playing, shoot, what's the name of it? It's, Bastion. I knew it started with a B. He was playing Bastion. Round 1 was Bruce. I fought against Bruce. I 2-0'd him, I believe. I don't recall. This was on Saturday. It's a while ago. I just didn't have time because of work to profile until now. Second round was Prison. Yeah, second round was Prison. I also beat him 2-0. Third round was the Bastion. I lost him 2-0. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, he just steamrolled me. No, actually, the first game was like super grindy. Like, I decked out, but like it was really close. And then the second game was like more like a steamroll. And then for the fourth and final round, it was Bruce again. And I believe no, I didn't 2-0. I won the first one, and then he won the second one, and then I won the third one. He won the second one just because he caught me slipping with no guard, so he just kind of took me to town. He didn't persona or anything, it was just basically poke attacks, but like, I didn't have any guards, so he took me to town. And yeah, that's it for the rounds. Let's just get into the deck profile. Ride line, you want to run the full Eugene ride line package just because it gets you the 5 soul you need to proc his second ability. So it's really, in my opinion at least, for the pure list, there's no reason to deviate from the ride line, since Vanguard wants it to be so super xenophobic anyways, at least with set 2. You're running the 4 perfect guards, the 1 over trigger. I'm running the Dragon Empire over trigger because at first I was actually running the Cray Elemental over trigger at first, but then I took it out for this one just because this one's just, it's good in every situation. At least it's gonna, draw you a card from the over trigger skill, and then it's gonna draw you another card because of the drive check. In the early stages of the game, it can just get you free damage for no reason. In the later stages of the game, it can win you the game. So I just feel like this one's just way better versus the Cray Elemental one, which is only good in certain situations if you have like a certain board setup. That's exact same reason why I was playing the other over triggers, just because it's technically usable in every situation. Anyways, on to the rest of the triggers. You're playing for the 20k fronts. You want to max out on shield like always, 4 heals, and then 7 crit. Just your standard Overdress lineup, at least in my opinion. And then let's get on to the bread and butter, the actual main deck. You're running 3 of the Persona Ride. You want to max out on the Persona Ride, just because you really, in my opinion at least, you really need it. You need it for the soul, you need it for the 10k to the front row, just because it's very important that you build the numbers on top of your retires, because you're a 3 attack deck. So it's really important that you just reach those key numbers. And then I'm playing 3 Tribash. The reason I cut down Tribash to 3 was I was trying to play more of an aggressive early engine with the deck, and this was the only way I found space for that, was cutting Tribash to 3. Let me move this up here. But it's still an amazing card. I wish I could play it at more copies, but, space issues. Then you're playing 4 Brachio. He's one of the best enablers for Eugene. He has his own pop skill, but like sometimes, if your opponent's playing very conservatively, it's just nice to rest him with Eugene to give Eugene the 10k. Even if they don't have rear guards, the free 10k is just nice because it restands itself, because they don't have a board, because they don't want you to eat the board. And then I play 4 Onikushi. Onikushi is just for the, like I said, I'm trying to play more of an aggressive early engine, and it's just really good to have a 15k attacker on turn 2, because no one's committing 3 rear guards. No one's committing 3 rear guards on turn 2. or turn 1 or turn 2, unless like there may be Magnolia. Maybe that's a big maybe, because they'll normally just come at like 1, like 2 maximum. At least in my opinion, it depends on their hand. And then a card that I actually tested out at the tournament, which turned out to be way better than I thought it was, Natil, Drag Ritter Natil. Now this card is just, oh my god, it's so free. It's literally a free 15k intercept if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards. And this is just the perfect card to rush with in the early game. Like, I would rather use these as beaters than these, even though these can make better like columns, like a hit over a trigger, when Natil is just like, just gets in there. And most people they're not gonna commit. They like, at least in my experience playing with Natil, most people don't commit in the early game. So, you know, that's what I've just been trying to, you know, capitalize on with these decks is, oh, if you know they're more of late game, mid game type, let me just bash them in the early game. And that's essentially what Magnolia does. So I'm just trying to copy Magnolia's homework, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's it for the grade 2s. And then for the grade 1s, playing 4 of my Frost Maiden. I just feel like she's just staple in this deck. She enables both of his skills. She enables both of his skills. It's a target to rest, and it's a target that puts things into soul if you need soul. So I just feel like it's very important to run her at 4. And then one of the very key cards of the deck is I play 4 of Idris. Now, it's very important you play Idris at 4, it's just because he's also an enabler, but it's very important to make your 30k columns. Idris plus your 8 grade 2s that are 15ks, 1 counterblast makes it a 30k row. You Persona Red, that's a 40k lane. Is that the biggest? Oh, 2 counterblast makes it 50k. Or 2 counterblast makes the lane 40k. So it's really important that you want to build your lines at least in like the mid game to late game with Idris, just because you can abuse his counterblast ability. That's the only card in this deck that counterblast. So you really just want to use Idris's counterblast ability. Also, you know, if you do need the soul or you really need the pop, you could also use it for its secondary skill, but just be aware that it only bashes grade 2s or higher. It can't get grade 1s. So, you know, you usually want to use your Brachio and your Eugene to kill the grade 1s or less. But this is the list that I tested out at that local event. It was pretty sizable, I guess, for locals. Vanguard locals really isn't popping right now. I guess partly because of COVID and partly because it's really not that popular of a game. But there are some changes I would make. I feel like I would definitely take out the Tribash, take out the Odinkushi. I noticed that a problem that this deck has is that it does really good in the early game, but like it has trouble making numbers past 30 or 40 in the mid to late game, to whereas you'd rather ideally make numbers that are 33 or 43, at least when it comes to the rear guard columns. So the Vanguard column is usually Gucci. The Vanguard column is usually 23, 33, or 31, which is sizable enough for a Vanguard. But that's at least, those are the problems that I found with the deck, that it was really hard to make the key numbers to close out the game. And I found that one of the ways that the Bastion player beat me was he was just throwing down the 20k shields on the rears, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is killing me. I can't get enough damage on board to kill this man. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why he decked me out. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't get enough damage on board to kill this man. So there's obviously some changes I want to make, but I also want to get this profile out there. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about the build. Any changes that you would make. I'm open to all ideas, really, just because I'm not really sure what I could do to alleviate that problem. Well, I do have a few ideas, but in terms of consistency and power. But anyways, bye guys.